We listen now to Dr. Luiz Oosterbeek, Secretary General of the International Council for Philosophy and Humanistic Studies.
Thank you, Mrs. President. Dear delegates, we are far away from 1949, zeitgeist, and the birth of the UN and Unesco. CIPH, the International Council for Philosophy and Human Sciences, has been established upon the initiative of UNESCO and the International Union of Academies on the 19th January 1949. But we are away from 1949 too. 75 years later, however, the context has changed, but the tripod UNESCO, CIPH, and academies remains a fundamental basis for the human sciences outreach and protection, particularly in a growingly tense world. In 2024, amidst a growingly tense world that drives away from the expectations of peace as set in the aftermath of the Second World War, CIPH will be celebrating in that year the 75th anniversary of the moment when UNESCO considered humanities to be a priority in its agenda. We are far away from that moment, but it is time to resume the fundamentals that allowed for hope and trust on building a peaceful and enlightened future. In the 1940s, the priority for the humanities was crystal clear for the leaders that had experienced and understood the processes that triggered 2 world wars in a one-generation lifetime. The words of Clement Attlee are well known as they became part of UNESCO's constitution. Since wars begin in the minds of men, it is in the minds of men that defenses of peace must be constructed. The second paragraph, by the way, stresses an historical, humanistic understanding that ignorance of each other's ways and lives triggers mistrust and war. But how far we are of understanding the implications of those words today. They are never about protecting humanities for the sake of those disciplines, but about understanding that the crucial problems of societies from peace to hunger were primarily about mindset, values, cultural understandings, and the need to build convergence through diversity. CIPH became founded in 1949 at the council that, with its now 22 world unions and federations, represents the humanistic domains of history, philosophy, anthropology, archaeology, literature, linguistics, geography, psychology, ethics, arts, philology, and beyond. Madam President, dear delegates, we are indeed far away from the understanding of the late 1940s, which allowed for hope and trust that benefited millions of people. For the last few decades, a growing tide of problems and anguishes progressively marginalized mid- and long-term reasoning. A novel lingua took over, and words like history or education became secundarized. Despite all this, CIPH has reinforced its relations with UNESCO and redefined its strategies. And now I invite you to join the commemorations of the 75th anniversary by going to cipsh.net and organizing initiatives in each of your countries or asking for our cooperation. Peace is not a discourse. Every time we make it wrong, people die. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.